What's the word, world? It's your man Dawgface Calderon, aka the most dangerous voice everywhere. And I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard. Pow!
I'm shooting through the city, now it's so with me, thinking about how Bobby over Whitney.
All right, so we got our guy, Dawgface, back on Off the Porch, man. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, I don't know how many times now.
It's a good, I'm gonna say at least 6.
Six interviews.
We said, yeah, 6 interviews. We said 6. I think we said 6 last time.
That's what I'm saying. I lost count a long time ago.
I should have had a record by now, man. Come on now.
You might have passed everyone.
I might have passed everybody, yeah.
And it's crazy because we just had you here last week to do a performance, and we put out the performance, and now we are viral for a performance. And I told you, bro, you got to be the only one to go viral for doing an Off the Porch performance where you're not even dissing anyone, but you got everyone mad, bro. What's been, your just reaction watching the feedback from this, bro?
I expected some form of controversy because of who Pimp C is and what Pimp C represented. Pimp C, it's kind of like somebody doing a remake of a Michael. Well, it's not a remake, but it's kind of like somebody doing a song and calling it Michael Jackson style. The Michael Jackson fans are going to hate you, right? And Pimp C didn't just represent Texas; he represented the entire South. He represented the entire world of hip hop, for that matter. So if you touch, even though it wasn't a diss, even though it was like a tribute, it was me saluting him, right? I knew it was going to create some type of controversy because black people just love to have something to talk about. It was as simple as that. And then when I was here, when I was filming it, we talked about how people are going to be mad about it, right? So it was kind of like we playing it. So I had a couple of different songs I could have done. I chose that one because I knew, like we talked about, we knew that people were going to be mad about it. But I didn't know it was going to be this level of interest in it. I didn't think anybody was going to really be hot under the collar like they are right now. But it is what it is. It serves its purpose. I'm happy. Whether people like it or don't like it, it's fine with me.
Yeah. Let's take a step back. Walk us through the inspiration for the song when you made it. What were you thinking when you made the song too, man?
Brother, I recorded that song in 2013.
So 13 years ago, you recorded.
Yeah, I recorded that song in 2013. I had hell of a producer, super producer from Detroit. I took a song. That song was originally part of the Proof compilation. Proof's mom, Pepper, Mama P. Holden, she commissioned me to do a memorial project for Proof. This was like 2013, 2014. She commissioned me to do a project and for her son as a memorial to her son. So that song was originally called I Am God, right? So I thought about it, and I already got a country-ass accent. I already talk, when I'm not trying to, I already sound country as hell. I sound like I'm from Alabama. I sound like I'm from down south to begin with, right? So I was listening to the song. The song was already out. It was a part of the 100 Proof compilation album that Proof's mother did, that I did for Proof's mom. I took the song, I listened to it again, I said, damn, man, I sound kind of country as a motherfucker on that motherfucker. I sound like a neck bone eating ass motherfucker on there, right? So I just called Helliver, I sent him the song, and I told Helliver to strip the beat and then create a new beat underneath it. So that's what happened. This song actually came out in 2013 or 14.
And was it called Pimp C Style back then?
No, it was called I Am God.
Okay.
So in the hook you say, one, no doubt about it, a legend here to make a confession, must I mention I'm a G. So G was just short for God. Okay. So it was just I Am a God. And I just took the song, I sent it to Hell stripped the beat from underneath it and left the vocals, and then he created a new beat underneath it. And that was just it. That song, I wrote it in 2000, it came out in 2014.
Oh, wow. Shoot. So some of the first comments that appeared on the performance was from Mr. Lee and DJ Beto, who worked with Pimp C.
Right.
And they weren't too fond of you calling it Pimp C Style.
Right.
Man.
I mean, so Pimp C Style was, it is not me trying to mimic Pimp C. Like I said, I recorded that song. Pimp C was still alive when I recorded that song. I recorded the song in 2013. I think it was released in 2014. So it wasn't me trying to be like Pimp C. Pimp C is one of my top 5 MCs of all time because of the impact he has had. And I've even though I'm from the Midwest, right? I've always been more drawn towards Southern rap. If I had a top 5 dead alive right now, and I've done this, Scarface and Pimp C would be in my top 5 because of it's not because they're like super lyrical, even though Scarface is just as lyrical as anybody, right? It was because of the overall impact, and it's because they talking that shit they talk that shit that coincides with the way I think and how I feel about a lot of different aspects of life. So it was me paying homage to Pimp C. That's what all it was.
Yeah. Why do you feel like people got that misconstrued then?
Cause niggas stupid. Next question. Niggas got everything misconstrued. And then if you think that I think that a bunch of country neck bone, pickle pig feet eating motherfuckers gonna really be able to understand where I'm coming from, right? I got people who from where I'm from who don't understand, my mind and how I do things. They don't understand the motive behind what I do. So what chance do a bunch of crawdad eating motherfuckers get a chance to understand? No, man. I wasn't necessarily surprised. I seen Beto and them commenting on Mr. Lee comment on it. And at first, it was just like, like, nah, man, you can't do that. And I understood the history they had with Pimp. But the whole thing is, it was not a diss. It was not something meant to be disrespectful. And it was what it was.
Yeah. Then you have a comedian named Bleak do a reaction video to it, and this takes it to a whole nother level. Man.
Right.
What's your reaction when you see Bleak's reaction?
I laughed at the shit. It was funny. All this shit is funny to me, bro. See, when I'm a content creator myself, so when you operate in the content creator space, there's no way you can be successful or have any longevity in that space if you're thin-skinned. I don't have thin skin like that. So when I responded, it was a joke. I feel like it was a joke. So I responded with jokes. I responded like, hey, you the only motherfucker who I know got gold teeth and you still got gaps in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So I responded to it like it was a joke. I didn't call him no bitches and hoes. I didn't talk about his mama. Because I'm the kind of person, you know me well. I'm the kind of person, I go right to your mama jokes. Right? I go right for your mama jokes. I'm playing a dozen with your ass, right? I laughed about it because I was following Bleak. So when I saw it, I didn't take offense to it until I saw what made me take offense to it at all, if you can say it was offensive. What made me take any offense to it, what raised my eyebrow was the comments, but then I understood because I understand how powerful of a figure and I understand what Pimp C meant to the world of hip hop, especially Southern hip hop, right? So I wasn't mad about this shit, but when I saw motherfuckers in there taking shots and trying to get personal, oh, you want to get personal? I'm the king of getting personal. So I wasn't upset. I fuck with, listen, the people who I talk to on a regular basis, I was just on, when I'm traveling from state to state on my promo tour, I've mentioned a lot of people from Detroit follow Bleak because I've shared his content. I actually have some of his content on my page right now because I thought he was dope, he was funny with the quick little 25, 30-second little skits he was doing, you know what I'm saying? And Detroit is the home of skit, motherfuckers. We had Ha Ha Davis, Jack Funny, so I can appreciate the candid, direct, raw humor of what he did. So I wasn't mad at him. I'm not mad at him right now. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't dare be mad at a motherfucker like that. I wouldn't dare give him any. I said what I said, it was what it was. I'm not mad right now about it. You know what I'm saying? I took it as a joke, and it was just funny to me. It's still funny to me right now because it's publicity. And you've been knowing me for the better part of
probably close to 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. When have you ever known me be thin-skinned? Never. I laughed at the shit. I don't care, right? It's publicity for me. And in the content space, whether it's good publicity or bad publicity, doesn't matter. As long as people are talking about me, doesn't matter. You have Boosie talking about me, don't matter. Thank you, I appreciate it. I really, really appreciate you. Because it's promo for both me and it's promo for Off the Porch, Dirty Gloves. So thank you, we appreciate you.
Now, speaking of Boosie, where do these issues stem from with you and him, man? Like, for him to repost it on his page now twice, I feel like there's got to be a personal, level of, that you guys have something.
Well, so when it comes to that, man, I've been spanking Boosie little diabetic ass for a long time. The first time I ever really spanked him was doing he had a VladTv interview when Vlad asked him about the whole QCP situation. And he started stuttering and stammering over that question, giving me the impression that he didn't want to talk about it because it was QCP, right? So my thing is, you never held your tongue before. You didn't hold your tongue when you were talking about T.I. You didn't hold your tongue when you were talking about Kodak Black. You didn't hold your, he's not known for holding his tongue on Vlad. No, the reason why Vlad, the heart of the reason why Vlad wants to interview him is because he knows that Boosie's a loose cannon, that he'll say almost anything. It wasn't because Boosie is known as an academic. It's not because he's not asking him about politics. He's not asking him about social issues of great importance. He's asking him about hip hop, ghetto, gutter shit, right? So I spanked him over the QCP. I don't know, I ain't see that shit. There's no way you didn't see all the controversy surrounding QCP, right? So my thing is, if you're gonna be fair around the board. Don't practice selective gangsterism, which is what I call it, right? If you're gonna talk about one person, don't hold up somebody else because you like them, because you have a relationship with them. If you're gonna be fair across the board. You can't play selective politics or play selective gangsterism games. You can't pick and choose who you want to call out their name because you cool, you buddies with them. That ain't how that shit go. So I spanked him then, and then it seemed like it went all downhill from there because, listen.
Did he ever reach out and like?
No, but his artist did. Master Jug from Mississippi.
Mississippi, yeah.
Yeah, Master Jug jumped on Instagram and started going at me, man. You can't talk about what the boss man like that. I'm like, nigga, you nuts? I talk about it. I talk about my own mama. Nobody is spared when it comes to this shit, right? I talk about myself. Nobody is beyond motherfucking criticism when you violating the so-called codes to the streets, right? And those codes to the streets don't exist no more because this shit is in shambles. But I've been spanking Boosie a long time. Boosie's been doing a lot of dumbass shit. And my thing is, the worst thing and probably the best thing that happened to him since he's been home, the best thing that happened to him, because he hasn't really dropped no hit records, right? When you think about Boosie, when you think about all the jams that he has, we still on that old Boosie. We ain't on nothing new. It's still old Boosie. If you got Boosie in your playlist, it's some old shit from 10, 15 years ago, right? But that just tells you how legendary he is because his music still lasts the test of time. But the whole thing is that they always say, the only way people know you're a fool is when you open your mouth. Boosie wasn't known for talking. Boosie was just known for rapping, right? So with the cell phones and all the footage and all that kind of shit going on, bro, like the artists that, it used to be a mystery around rappers. We didn't know. We would have to read about it in the Source, the Vibe, Double XL, Hip Hop Journal, Hip Hop Weekly, whatever, right? We didn't know. We didn't know how stupid these motherfuckers were until motherfuckers started filming them, and then they started filming themselves, and then they started to jump on social media and start to talk. I mean, the majority of rappers right now, not just Boosie, but the majority of rappers right now, right, they lack genuine, they haven't been A&R'd. They haven't been, there's been no media training, there's been no social etiquette in terms of how to move, even in the world of entertainment. So that's why you see all these artists fall on their face when the camera gets shoved in their face. They fail almost every time because all the record labels are concerned with is taking niggas from the ghetto and putting a microphone in front of their face and putting the camera in front of their face and just letting them talk. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers are content. The rappers have been content before they even realized they were content. So it just is what it is, man. He was mad at me about that shit, and so he posted me twice in the last 48 hours. Now we know Boosie charges upwards of 10 grand to post anything.
He doesn't do any promotions for free.
He doesn't do any promotion. He certainly doesn't do any promotion for artists from Baton Rouge. So people are like, well, Boosie posted you, he dissing you, whatever. Hey, listen. If you call somebody who charges 10 grand a pop to post anything, if he does it at all, because you don't see him posting anybody from Baton Rouge or anybody from Louisiana of that matter. You don't even see him post his own kids' music on his page. So I feel honored that he chose me. Boosie want to be my friend. You can tell. You can tell. Because he laughs about the whole thing. It's funny to me. You know what I'm saying? It's funny to me. It's funny to him. I think that he really trying to throw me an alley-oop, bro. Because why would you post me 2 times back-to-back on your page when you're not known for sharing or posting or using your platform to help celebrate anybody, especially the guys who are from where you're from in Louisiana, or even the guys that you have relationships with here. And then there are artists that Boosie still has signed to him right now. He don't post they shit. So they gotta be looking like, damn, a nigga made you mad, and so you post they shit, but I'm your artist. and you ain't post me. So all we gotta do is make you mad, you gonna post us too? That's gotta be the recipe. I'm laughing about that shit. So record sales up, and then the whole world is focused on, well, who was this Dawgface nigga that Boosie talking about? Right? Come look at it, come check it out. There's some dope shit over here.
Yeah, he's making fun of your age. Why is there such a big ageism in hip hop that we don't see in any other genre?
Well, the funny thing about that is that same question was put to him. And he said, this is not too long ago, it wasn't even a year ago, he said, I'm gonna rap till I can't rap no more. I rap till I'm 70. You know what I'm saying? There's no age limit on good music. There's no age limit on bad music. There's no age limit. The only people who put age limits on or try to restrict people according or based on their age is black people. Black people are the only ones saying you're too old to act, you're too old to rap, you're too old to sing, you're too old to do whatever the case may be, right? Black people love trying to limit other black people and trying to dictate how far or how long another black person can go. It is what it is.
So you still gonna be rapping is what you're saying, right?
Bro, I rap because it's fun to me, you know what I'm saying? So I drop a song once a year, maybe twice a year, depending if I'm feeling like that. People who like it, people who don't. It is what it is. It's funny to me. It's funny to me that we have all this motherfucking. It's funny to me that people are so short-sighted and people don't understand and they can't see things through my lens. My lens is free marketing, free advertising, free promotion. You don't get no better than that. The flip side of that is paying somebody to share the content. And I'm the kind of person, right? Even though it came out on Off the Porch Live, but I'm the kind of motherfucker that I'll pay a blog to share the shit. I don't gotta pay nobody to share nothing now because all the blogs are picking it up and gonna share it for me. And I don't give a fuck what's attached to it. Just share it. I don't care. Just share it.
Have you and Boosie ever had a conversation?
Yes, through the DM, we did.
Through the DMs, okay.
Yeah, that was about a month ago.
Oh, really? What was that conversation about?
What this bitch ass nigga do this time? He did so much bitch ass shit. It was one of the things that happened. It was the famous butt dial jokes when he made a comment about Allstar JR and he said that his booty, he got a magic ass. His booty magically started doing giffies. All right, so he said, well, I didn't do that. I was out fishing, and then I had my phone in my back pocket, and I sat down, and my ass just magically started sending out giffies on Lil Duval's fan page. Not even his primary page, his fan page. So you telling me your ass got magic powers to where you can put your phone in your back pocket, and then your phone gonna scroll to Lil Duval fan page. It's gonna open up your keyboard. Do you know how complicated it is to create Giphies on Instagram to begin with?
You gotta search for something, right?
Yeah, so he knew we wasn't buying that shit. So you had a couple of rappers from Detroit try to come to his defense, but I wasn't buying that shit because the shit he was saying about how it happened, that shit wasn't realistic and it wasn't plausible. That shit was a lie. You made those comments on Lil Duval fans page because you feel like nobody wasn't gonna see that shit. You was trying to be slick, you bitch ass nigga. You know why you did this shit, and so does everybody else. Or if you're telling me that your asshole is magical and you can put a phone in your back pocket and your booty can send gifts out, boy, you was an alien, boy. You an alien if you can do that. Your booty got that much power to it. You a power bottom if you can do all that. That's called power bottom. Your booty can send a gift. That's a magic ass.
Now I'm seeing a lot of debate online about some that Boosie's going through right now with the pardon and all that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of rappers are debating like whether that's a form of snitching by calling.
There's no debate about it. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, go ahead.
But there is no debate about it because listen. So let me start off, and I'm going to be real brief about this, right? So in the canons of law, right? In the oracles of law, being ignorant of a law doesn't justify or doesn't excuse the fact that you broke the law, right? So what happened here is, there's two things let's consider. Let's consider the law itself. It's illegal to pay for a pardon. It's called bribery. Even in China, it's called bribery, right? So you enter into an agreement with somebody, and he's making a big deal. These two white guys, they had suits on. who in the fuck do you think invented scamming, frauding, and jugging? Oh, you think Lil Tyrone with busting the Giffies and buffing the beat, you think that's where scamming and jugging started? No, the white man invented jugging. The white man invented scamming because you saw two white guys who spoke proper and who had suits on. You looked at them with less suspicion than you would look at Tyrone, a little Mark, a little Bookie Book. No, what are you talking about? So when he said, well, it's not snitching because it's civil and it's not no gangster shit. That is gangster shit. Since when? Since when jugging and finessing? Since when finessing and jugging ain't gangster shit? All the young motherfuckers doing it right now, right? This is even before PPP and unemployment fraud when the world shut down, right? Niggas been finessing and jigging forever. You got finessing, you got jug, and you blew the whistle on it, right? You blew the whistle on it because why? How do we even know that it happened? We know that it happened. We know that he got took. He got jugged, he got finessed, he got grooved out of $600K. How do we know that? We know that because he told the whole world. He was trying to use the court of public opinion to shine a light on this, and he was trying to out everybody who was involved in it. Now listen, it's against the law to bribe somebody for a presidential pardon. It's called bribery. And then how did you bribe them? Or how did you pay them the money? It was a wire transfer. So that's wire fraud, right? So you're basically online acting like that you're not doing what you're doing. You're trying to tell the whole world, you're trying to alert the whole world that you got scammed by these two white guys for a presidential pardon. And then not only did he name the two white guys who jugged him out of $600K, that's a jug. He named the people who the two jug masters said they contacted and were in contact with, who were in connection with the White House. So you threw these two guys under the bus, and you threw a list of other people who they told you they talked to about a pardon from you. That's the craziest shit in the world. You were trying to do exactly what you did. Now you have White House officials coming out saying, we don't know nothing about that. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to get the feds' attention. He was trying to throw these guys under the bus because these guys had already said, we ain't giving you shit back. So what he did was, it was like a backdoor, back channel way of telling on the motherfucker. I'm gonna take this shit to Instagram. I'm Boosie. So I'm gonna go on Instagram and I'm gonna say that these guys scammed me for $600K for a presidential pardon. I only want $300,000 back. If they jugged you and if they scammed you and if they finessed you, why wouldn't you demand all your money back? Because they didn't do, according to you, what they promised you they were going to do. That's one. Number two, you mentioning all these motherfuckers' names. You got the White House attention. The White House has made statements about. You have people who work in the White House who've come out and made statements and say, hey, listen, we don't know about that shit. That's not how that go, right? Then the funny part about it is, this is really funny. The funny part about it is that if he wasn't such a bitch ass nigga, he could have asked NBA Youngboy, how did you go about getting your pardon or your commentation? He could have asked Kodak Black, but you can't ask Kodak because you took your soft ass up to Vlad and you called Kodak Black a rat for doing the song with 6ix9ine, so you couldn't ask him. But guess what else? You could have asked Lil Wayne. You could have, there are people who have received commutations and have received presidential pardons from Donald Trump who you know that you could have asked, you could have went to and you could have asked them, okay, what's the process? What do I gotta do? How do I lobby this? How do I make this happen? You ain't do none of this shit. You took it upon yourself and you got finessed and scammed by two motherfuckers who you put your faith in. And then you start crying, foul ball. You can't do no shit like that. That's telling. Simple as that. Ain't no, well, they white guys. What the fuck they gotta do with anything? I wouldn't give a fuck if they was purple or polka dot. It is what it is, man. You got finessed, you got scammed, you got jugged. Simple as that.
Do you think he was wrong to thinking he could buy his way for a pardon, knowing this administration's probably...
Hey, listen. So everybody believes that the Trump administration is for sale. I believe it's for sale. But so there's a way, and there's a way, and there's a procedure to do everything, right? And like one of the guys who he named as the person who the two guys who scammed him had supposed to communicate with, that guy responded and said, hey, I had somebody call me and mention your name, but I didn't take any money for that conversation. They called me, they mentioned how the process would get started, but I didn't have any, they called me one time and I haven't spoke to them since. So what it was is these guys probably set the whole thing up and made him feel comfortable, right? So he can bust their check, right? And then they took him for what they took him for. And I wish I could have got some of that money out of that dumb goofy motherfucker. I can get you, you can call me, I can get you a pardon. I can get you a pardon. You can call me, I can get you there. I know Trump.
You think he'll get any of this money back?
No. And the whole thing is, bro, you telling them guys. You're doing the same thing and then what's crazy about it is, so we have a situation to contrast this or to compare it with. Don't forget Boosie, when the whole thing with Gucci Mane came out with Pooh Shiesty, Boosie came out and was super critical of the way Gucci handled the situation. Called him a rat, said he was wrong, said he was supposed to get in the field. He said all that. Now, when it's your, when Rabbit ain't got the gun no more, when it's your turn, now you want to go and file civil litigation, and then you want to use the power of your platform, your Instagram, to scream to the moon that these guys scammed you and finessed you when you were attempting to buy your way into a presidential pardon. No, he don't get no grace period for that kind of shit. Because you didn't just give Gucci the same level of grace. You didn't get that. You said Gucci was supposed to jack his whole life off and go shoot and kill and rad and slad and pay for hits, basically. But when it came to you, where the radding at, nigga? Get the radding. These some white boys. They ain't even gonna resist. They ain't got suits. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't even gonna resist. What the radding at with that? All the rad in the world ain't gonna get that motherfucking money back. You know that. That money is gone. That's a lesson.
Do you think any charges will be brought up against them?
Hey, listen, listen. So my question to you is, it's against the law to be able to pay for a presidential pardon. I think everybody who's above the 3rd or 4th grade understands that, right? So when you screaming at the top of your lungs on your Instagram page, you're doing that for a reason, because you didn't have to tell the world what happened to you. You could have just fought this battle in civil court and nobody would have known. Nobody would have known how stupid you were. Nobody would have known what transpired. You took the Instagram to try this court in public opinion, and you wanted to get attention for it. You wanted somebody to see it, and somebody saw it because you have members of people who are associated with the White House have commented and said, whoa, I don't know about that. So he did exactly what he wanted to have happen. He rung the alarm on the motherfucker. That's called draft snitching. You screaming that the nigga that judged you for a presidential pardon, the whole world can hear it. Now that shit is in mainstream. I saw it on CNN.
Really? They picked it up?
Yeah, it was on CNN.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was on CNN. He knew what was going to happen when he did it. He did it on purpose. So the question of whether or not potential charges are going to come, I'm sure the DOJ and the Attorney General are looking into it because of the appearance. Now, Trump don't really give a fuck about nothing. But this clumsy ass shit, we're not gonna sink the ship for this stupid dumb ass nigga. We're not gonna do that, right? So somebody needs to take a look at this shit and figure out what the fuck he talked about, because this shit is clumsy. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want what we got going on to be affected by this shit, because now a light has already been shined on how Trump gives out pardons and why he does what he does, right? And commutations, right? This shit right here, this is some shit they don't need.
Mm-hmm. Now, since you last sat on the porch, which was earlier this year, your podcasting career has taken off, by the way, bro. What's these last few months been like, man? Being more in the spotlight and everything.
I've been preparing for this for forever. So it's like a bittersweet moment. In my mind, I'm supposed to be where I am now 4 or 5 years ago, based on the amount of work and effort and based on the amount of networking that I've been doing. But shout out to my man Big D from Ogle State of Mind, who kind of like re-inspired me. Shout out to my man RJ Watkins Jr., hell of a. Shout out to my man Jeff from Real Life, Street Stars. And shout out to Mafi from the Mafi channel. Mafi is, I have 2 managers, Jeff from Real Life, Street Stars, and Mafi from the Mafi channel. Mafi, I met Mafi about 6 months ago. We kind of like mapped out a strategy, and he had been watching my my interviews and watching my social media, right? And Mafia said, hey man, you got it. You got everything, man. You are a bigger, brighter, better version, more sincere version of a Charleston White, right? Because that's the standard that people know what I'm saying. Because what I do is, so it's called influencer. So an influencer, a YouTube influencer is a person who gets interviewed for his perspective about whatever's going on in the world, right? So you have the Charleston Whites, the Jaguar Wrights, you have the Rainwaters, you have a couple of more people who make a living off of being interviewed, the 607 Unks. So you have hybrid people, you have people who have podcasts, but then you have people who, like Charleston White doesn't have a podcast. He just travels around being interviewed about his perspective about whatever going on, no matter how crazy that shit is. It is what it is. They pay him to sit down to talk to him about his concept of his perspective or his viewpoints on whatever the case may be. So the highest level of the game is to be interviewed about your opinion, because it's different from me just doing a podcast myself and then just talking about whatever it is. It's a difference between that and then people having enough regard for you. I don't even want to say respect, but people having enough regard for you to believe that you have something to say that would be interesting enough for their audience to gravitate towards. That's a compliment, right? So I'm happy to be where I am right now. My upward trajectory is I'm here now. I'll be in New York in a couple of days. I got content coming out. I have a podcast coming out. Me, Hassan Campbell, and Harlem Legend, we doing something. Just shout out to everybody who's been behind me, pushing me. Shout out to Vlad for giving me an opportunity, because he ain't had to do that, you hear me? And I was already scheduled to be on Vlad before he fell out with Boosie, you know what I'm saying, before he became a public
They're already saying
thing.
you're his new replacement.
That's an insult to me. Because when you look at the kind of conversations that he's had with Vlad had to dumb down the questioning just to get a serviceable interview out this motherfucker. Because if you think about it, people don't watch Vlad and Boosie for Boosie's perspective about shit outside of nigga shit, outside of like the base level urban hip hop shit. What's going on in Afghanistan? What's going on with Maduro in Venezuela? What's going on with the Straits of what's going on with Iran? We don't, if he was to start to talk about that kind of shit, it would come out so clumsy and so retarded that you would turn. I would rather watch Little House on Perry. I would rather watch Love and Hip Hop than to watch this stupid ass nigga try to explain what the fuck going on in the world. No, I would never do that. So I'm just a replacement. I'm not even gonna toot my own horn when it comes to that, but Boosie has a name, so that's why he's important to that space, because he has a name. But when it comes to really jumping into matters of any importance whatsoever, getting into things of substance, that's an insult to me to say I'm his replacement, because, man, you gotta find somebody else. I get it though, but you gotta find somebody else who can string together a coherent sentence to compare me to. This nigga dumb as a box of rocks.
You've been on Vlad twice.
Yeah.
Is there going to be more in the future?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's your opinion of going on Vlad's podcast compared to other podcasts?
So when it comes to the world of media, right? So I'll draw an analogy from the complex list of the most powerful people and by the way, there's no way that Off the Porch as a platform, as meaningful and as significant of a run you guys have had, there's no way, because you've had the best of the best and the who's and the who. So if you're going to mention, I mean, you guys are the OGs, so that for Complex not to have included Off the Porch, when you look at what, long before there was anybody else that was Off the Porch, they're the OGs of this shit at this point. But having said that, being on Vlad is like, it's goals for anybody who wants to. I don't give a fuck what nobody say, they lying, bro. If you operating in the YouTube streets or on the YouTube streets, right, you are a lying motherfucker if you say that being on Vlad is not a bucket list thing for you. It's a checklist thing for you, because it doesn't get any higher than that when it comes to interview-based platforms that that are from the urban niche. It doesn't get any higher than that, man. Being on VladTv is like the top of the totem pole. And then you work your way down, and that's just the truth of the matter. But I was honored to be there. I had a good conversation with him. The first time I went to Vlad, which was about 3 or 4 months ago, he said, no, you finna interview me. So I'm one of the few people to have ever interviewed Vlad on his own platform. I think it's only 3 or 4 people outside of me who have done that. So when I went in there expecting to be interviewed. And he said, no. I need you to interview me about the Allstar JR situation. So it was supposed to be a segment because I was the one who introduced him to JR. I was the one who put him on the phone with JR. I was the one who put Allstar JR on the phone with Poetic Flacco and Academics, right? So he was like, we need to get this out the way because people were accusing him of getting Allstar JR locked up, or he was on the way to a VladTv interview and he got picked up, Vlad set him up. None of that was true. And nobody knows that more, nobody understands that more than me because I was the person who arranged the interview. Mafi called me, I called Allstar JR, and then we all got on FaceTime together. We all had a couple of conversations that led up to his booking. So I was there. So we talked about that. But there is unreleased material because I interviewed Vlad for about an hour. It was more than just the Allstar JR situation. I'm gonna have to call him and ask him where the rest of that footage is.
Yeah, usually he's real quick to roll shit out.
Yeah, but I think the focal point, that specific point in time was about the Allstar JR thing because that was the hot, but he just get picked up. But I interviewed Vlad for over an hour, close to an hour. Close to an hour, and we covered about 4 or 5 different subjects. We covered the Lil Boosie situation. We covered the Ari Spears situation. We covered a bunch of different topics, man. I'm gonna have to ask him where that other footage is at, because I'm gonna need that. Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
You also appeared on No Jumper, but now recently you and Adam22 had a big back and forth online. What happened there?
The back and forth was about Nolan Wells. He took exception to my rendition or my version or my theory or my synopsis of what I think took place. And he said that I was conveying false information. Hey, listen. And my thing was, just like Benjamin Crump said, because Benjamin Crump shared the picture of the pool party, right? And Benjamin Crump said, hey, listen, I'm putting out everything. Because right now, we're in the state of Mississippi, and so I'm trying to find answers for everything. So if something comes across my desk, I'm putting it out there, and I'm gonna throw it out there to see what comes back. I'm gonna throw everything against the wall to see what bounces back. And the one thing that we can say about the whole situation, well, the pool, that was a couple of weeks before that. Hey, listen, brother, when it comes to Mississippi and niggas, we don't have a good relationship. We don't have a good history. When black people judge, especially when we talk about law enforcement with black people, when black people judge the correctness or the appropriateness of what's going on with law enforcement as it specifically relates to investigations of black people, whether it's a perpetrator of a crime or somebody who's been victimized. When black people, when we measure that shit, we're not just measuring it according to the evidence that we see or don't see at any given point in time. When black people, when we're judging situations where there's a matter of race involved, we're judging that according to our historical experience with white people. And so, what do you mean, Dawgface? Hey, listen, when you tell me something happened in Mississippi, I don't give a fuck what it is. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh, there's some shit. It's gonna be some lynching down there. It's gonna be some lying. It's gonna be some corruption. Because Mississippi, do you remember when Kanye West said, George Bush don't care about black people?
Of course, yes.
Bro, Mississippi don't care about black people. And even white people know that. Even white people know Mississippi and a nigga. If you committed a crime, your ass going to the chain gang. If you were a victim of a crime at the hands of somebody white, that's another unsolved mystery. That's Emmett Till all over it again. So when it comes to Adam22 having a problem of expressing his displeasure, first of all, motherfucker, fuck are you? You're not even known for even tackling social issues. When's the last time you see Adam22 tackle anything that even looks like a social issue. When's the last time you talked about Nolan Wells? Hey, Adam, what's your take on what happened to Carmelo Anthony? What's your take on what happened with George Floyd? What's your take on what happened between George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin? Since now we know that you have such a strong social conscience, we know that you're using your voice to address certain issues. What about all the issues that affect the majority of the population that you have? The majority of Adam's consumer base, his consumer base is 99% black. So since you feel so strongly about matters and subjects that affect black people, now I'm going to hold you accountable. And I was just at iHeartRadio. Shout out to Brianna. Shout out to my man A, who interviewed me yesterday at 96.1 iHeartRadio, Atlanta. I'm putting it out there. He already said that he already agreed that he would debate me about the matter specifically of Nolan Wells. I was at iHeartRadio yesterday, Atlanta, and they said they would host the conversation and or debate between me and Adam. You know what I'm saying? So I got interviewed by them yesterday, and I'm going to talk to him, right? I think that he underestimated my ability to be, I think that he underestimated who I am as a person. I think that all he saw was the rah-rah and the crazy shit from Dawgface. I don't think that he really understood who I am, my experience, my level of genuine education. I think he used to dealing with gangbang motherfuckers, and the subject is nothing about any matters of social consciousness whatsoever, or any matters about race in America, and none of that kind of shit. So the whole thing is, I think he's amazed that people are saying that there's a racial tinge to what's going on down there, right? He's amazed because he doesn't really understand what it means to be black, and the so-called black friends that he does have, they should feel more offended than anybody, right? Because since when do you give a fuck about issues like this? When have you ever used your platform to bring awareness to anything? And then the majority of your consumer base, the majority of people who digest that Jerry Springer ass shit, like I always said he was Jerry Springer. I said it on this show before. That's some Jerry Springer shit. When I went up there for an interview with him, I said, man, do you run some Jerry Springer shit up here? So it just is what it is, but I challenged him. I was at iHeartRadio Atlanta. Which camera is mine? This one?
This one right there.
iHeartRadio Atlanta, shout out to Brianna. They've agreed to host a debate between myself and Adam22. Any social issues you want to tackle, right? They agreed to do it. We come in iHeartRadio Atlanta. They don't get no, Atlanta is still the cradle of black entertainment, urban entertainment. So we can do it on the grandest stage in the country, which is iHeartRadio. When it comes to terrestrial radio and podcasting, iHeartRadio, that whole Netflix thing, they're number one when it comes to this shit. So Adam, iHeartRadio Atlanta, they already agreed to host a debate between me and you. Let's do it.
You think he'll do it? I know he said he would, but do you think
And listen, I'll pay for his flight. I'll pay for his flight. I'll pay for his flight to come to Atlanta. Right now. I'll send him a plane ticket. Adam22, listen, it's a difference between talking into a camera and talking to yourself. It's a difference between typing and having a discourse with reasonable people. It's a difference. Every time Adam has been in a situation where he's talking to somebody who has any level of intellect whatsoever, he's always been bested. He's always lost those debates. He's always lost those arguments. He's always lost it. Simple as that. There's no way Adam would take me up. I will fly you to Atlanta and we can host a debate. iHeartRadio Atlanta already agreed to host a debate. I'm putting it out there. I will pay for your flight. I'll pay for your flight.
Has your theory on what happened to Nolan Wells changed over the last couple of weeks?
No, it's something stinks in that shit. Something stinks. When you look at the sheriff's initial press conference where he says that he said that there was no, in his mind, there was no suspicion of foul play. Fuck you know. What are you talking about? How can you make a determination? And even if you felt like that, we're too early in the investigation for you to be able to say that out loud. So that's what triggered all of this shit. Now, so it wasn't just 3-4 white boys with a black guy and the black guy came up missing. That wasn't just that. It wasn't just the component of the friendship between all of those young men. It was how law enforcement, we know law enforcement. If we don't know nothing else, black people know what law if you don't gotta beef with, well, you don't gotta beef with no motherfucking Mississippi. Nigga, I've read history books. I know what the fuck we got coming from Mississippi. And then when the sheriff came out and they conducted that press conference and he said that there was no suspicion of foul play, that right there, listen, bro, black people have 6 senses, not 5 like ordinary human beings. We have a racism radar built into our soul, not built into our ego. We have a racism radar built into our soul and our spirit. We know racism, even when people are trying to masquerade it as something else. Black people don't have to be told, see, listen, here's the biggest misconception. I didn't call you a nigga. Bro, you don't have to call me a nigga in order for me to know that what you did and what you did say to me and what you didn't say to me, about me, around me, or to somebody else about me, we can smell racism, bro. It's in our heart. When that whole thing with Nolan Wells happened, I was at iHeartRadio yesterday, like I just said. I've had conversations with everybody from Tony Yayo to you name it, to Adam22 to Poetic Flacco about this whole thing, right? We are all in different parts of the earth. We are all in different parts of this country, right? Every black person in America who has any level of consciousness, when we found out that boy was dead, I don't give a fuck how much of a gangster you are. I don't give a fuck how street you are. I don't give a fuck if you from the street nigga to the Wall Street executive. We felt some kind of way. And even though black people, we do a lot of dumbass shit to ourselves, when something happens like that, it's like a moment of silence even amongst gangsters. From the most gangster amongst us to the highest level executive amongst us, because that's still a common thread that we all share, even though we all move in different directions, bro. So it wasn't just it was just black kids and white kids being friends. It was that sheriff. It was about one of the kids' parents, step parents, the female being a judge. It was about everybody going dark, getting rid of their social media. It's about everybody going dark and not cooperating and lawyering up. If it's an accident, you truly don't, what is that about? Why? Listen, at what point, me and you, I've been knowing you for a decade, bro. If me and you go sailing and I fall off the boat and somebody asks you what happened to me, if you know in your heart and your mind that you didn't do anything wrong, you're gonna be open and honest. And then you're in the state of Mississippi. You know the sheriff, you know the prosecutor, the DA, you know the fucking what's the motherfucker do the body shit, the autopsy motherfucker, the medical examiner. Y'all all know each other. Law enforcement y'all all grew up together. You know they're not finna railroad you, right? Why you going silent like that? Why you get rid of our social media because I'm trying to protect my kids? What? Your kids are supposed to be, since they were friends, your kids are supposed to be supplying all the information they possibly can to help figure out what the fuck happened to their friend.
Yeah, we didn't see any mourning from
No, we didn't see any mourning. We didn't see any genuine compassion. All we saw is a belligerent attitude about how dare you accuse us. No, bitch. We accusing y'all motherfuckers because something ain't right. Y'all stories ain't checking out. On top, there's too many things. 1, getting rid of your social media. 2, lawyering up off bail. What you lawyering up for? There's nothing to lawyer up about. We didn't do anything wrong. We left him there. Nigga, we trying to figure out what happened to him too. Right? That's 3. Number 4, the response, like you just said, there's no remorse, there's no sympathy, there's no empathy. It is all about protect your ass, cover your ass, CYA. That shit ain't right. Something ain't right. I believe in my heart that it's foul play, and I believe that it's gonna come out, and I believe that the parents are doing the right thing by initiating an independent investigation about what's going on with this shit.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the big comments, or the most talked about comments I see on this situation is, he should not be the only black friend in the friend group. Do you agree with that?
So, let me just say this. So I moved my children from metropolitan Detroit to rural Atlanta. I stay an hour away from Atlanta, right? There's like 6, 7 cities between where I live in Atlanta, right? The community I live in, if you Google it, it is one of the most affluent communities north of Atlanta and still be in the state of Georgia, right? The community is 99% white. We don't even have Indians. You know, the Indians like the Bangladesh, we don't even have Indians, right? We don't even have Hispanics. It's white people and black people who all have money. I just completed my new home. My new home is even more secluded and in an even more predominantly white situation. It might be 100% white, right? But I have more land and it's more creature comforts and everything is just the way I planned it. I bought the last house. This house we built from the ground up exactly the way we wanted it, right? So my children, like for example, my kids go to school with Lil Baby's son, the rapper Lil Baby. Mm-hmm. Lil Baby his son goes to school with my kids, right? And there have been issues, not as much as I thought it was going to be, because there's Trump country up there, but I haven't had the experiences that I thought I was going to have. I thought I was going to have to fuck some white people up. But we've had issues that we had to correct and get some understanding about, but it hasn't been based on how white the community is. It's been nowhere near what we anticipated it would be. Up there where I live at, it's all about you got some money. You know what I'm saying? And we know there's always racism involved with that shit because it ain't just about the money. But I definitely talk to my kids about their white friends. I definitely have conversations with my children about, I just had a conversation with them this morning about Nolan Wells, Carmelo Anthony. We talked about Nolan Wells in particular about the whole stand your ground thing. I mean, not Nolan Wells, but Carmelo Anthony, about what happened with them. So I think that black people, I'll answer your question this way. Black people, you have white people in America who are trying to beat black people about their head because they're pointing out racist shit going on. And so now there's something called black fatigue. Black fatigue, when white people use it, it is white people are sick and tired of black people pointing out the shit that we think that they're doing wrong to us based on race. And my thing is this, and what people don't know is the term black fatigue, white people have commandeered that term, and so now they look at that shit as white people being upset with black people about constantly using the race card to point out racial injustice or whatever the case may be. The term black fatigue was coined by a black person. It was invented by a black woman. And what black fatigue really means is, hey, black people, we are tired of having to point out to you the obvious racial component and the obvious racial undertones of the shit y'all doing. That's what black fatigue is really about. We're tired. How in the fucking white people be tired? You're tired about us complaining about what the fuck y'all have been doing to us. That's the craziest shit in the world. So I teach my kids about race in America. And I tell my kids to be, ain't no drowning in my motherfucking kids. All my girls are lifeguards. Ain't no drowning. They can swim to here in Alaska. We don't play that shit, right? But in all honesty, I'm going to tell you what I do. And what I do with my children is something that I suggest that all black people do, especially black people of means and of substance and who have financial security. You have to always teach your kids that there is always the possibility of jealousy, envy, and groupthink when it comes to white people. Because it might not even about the kids. Kids learn racism from their parents and grandparents, right? So it might not, those children who my kids go to school with right now, they might not, but you can never be too safe and too sure. You have to teach your kids about race. You have to teach them about matters of you have to teach them about the reality and the country that we live in. It ain't just about teaching your kids about drugs. Don't use drugs. Don't drink alcohol. Don't do this. Don't do that. Be mindful of social media. Be mindful of TikTok. Be mindful of predators. But you also have to teach your kids, your black kids, to be mindful about matters of race and racial disharmony. Because this country is at a fever pitch when it comes to racial disharmony, right? You got motherfuckers who are trying to stoke the flames of racial hatred and racial divide, hoping to get something that looks like a fucking race war. There's money in that. You have motherfuckers who are doing everything in their power to create situations where black people and white people explode. And then the black people and white people who explode, it ain't gonna be the rich white people. It's gonna be the broke, fucked up white people who mad, angry, and upset because they haven't been able to achieve their piece of the American pie, and they're blaming everybody from immigrants to niggas as to why they haven't been able to obtain their white picket fence and house and college degrees and shit like that. So when it comes to racial disharmony, it is people at the top levels trying to stoke the flames of people who we all hate white people. The majority of white people ain't rich, right? Hey, white people who don't like black people. Newsflash, you have black people who don't like black people. Do you see everything happening in the black communities? Does that look like that we all on the same page? The death, the destructions, the drugs, the pimping, the hoeing, how we talk about each other, how we talk about ourselves, the music we create, the music that we listen to. We spinning that shit. We got kids dancing and spinning and scamming. Hey, listen, white people who don't like black people, the line that you need to stand in is way back there, right? Because you're gonna get behind us now because black people are the biggest killers of black people in this country. So if you don't like black people, hey, it's kind of like when you get in line, man. Get in line because we don't like ourselves. Your dislike for us doesn't trump our own issues with trying to destroy each other. Get in line, motherfucker.
No, well said, because it was just weird reading the comments. People were basically blaming Nolan's parents for even letting him go out there with his so-called friends.
I can see that, though. I can see, well, it's not just the act of letting him go out there. It is like, we are under the impression that you're not teaching your black sons and your black daughters that this thing is possible because you think you're above that because financially you're in the upper talented 10th, you're in the upper 5 percentile of, right, you have means, you have money. Hey, listen, racism and people who don't like black people, they don't give a fuck how much money you got. You a nigga to them. White people who don't like black, and I ain't talking just white, because you have Mexicans, you have Indians, you have Asians who have the same attitude that the most racist white, listen, I would rather have white friends than have Hispanic friends right now. I would rather have, I'm talking about the new migrants that come over here, right? The new migrants from India to Arab to Asians, because they already have preconceived notions about what black people are, who we are, and what we do, right? I would rather have white friends than have Asian friends right now, right? Because even though we examine the history between the tension and the turmoil between white and black people, bro, you got Asians, you got migrants coming over here now, they don't give a fuck about white or black. They don't give a fuck about none of this shit, right? So I'm suspicious of everybody right now, and I think that his parents, I don't know what they taught him in their home, right? So I don't want to presuppose that. I don't want to put that on them because they already have enough on them. I ain't gonna do the Charleston White and try to criticize them because I don't know what they taught, what they told their son. But black people all over, the world over, in this country, black people in this country, racism is not dead. It doesn't matter how much money you got. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have. It doesn't matter, none of that shit matters. You have people who don't like you. They don't give a fuck if you're a Baptist, a Muslim, Episcopalian, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness. They don't give a fuck if you, none of that shit. You still a Hebrew Israelite. Listen, people who don't like you, they don't give a fuck what you call yourself. In their eyes and in their heart and in their thinking, you still a nigga and they still feel like they're superior to you and they don't have to respect nothing about you or your life. Your life doesn't mean anything to them.
Nah, well said right there, man. So, dog, you did 17 years, right?
Yes.
You came home, you changed your life, turned it around. Did you ever envision this type of life during those last years that you was locked up?
I did. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I knew that I wasn't going to come home and fail because I had failed so many times, and I had multiple conversations with myself. Preparing, it wasn't about what somebody else. I did a lot of reading, a lot of studying. You know, I've read everything from the Holy Quran to the Bible to the Torah to the Talmud to everything from Sheikh Anti-Diop to Michael Eric Dyson to Chancellor Williams to you name it. I've read everything, right? And I did all that to try to condition my mind so that no matter what situation I found myself in, even if it didn't go in my favor initially, I would be prepared for it. I tried to condition myself, and prepare myself to be able to deal with and to cope with any situation. But the most important thing that I taught myself, right, the last couple of years, it wasn't about a book. It wasn't about me having a conversation with nobody else. It was about being patient with myself. A lot of times when people get out of prison, especially people who have done prolonged periods of time, bro, I know niggas who did 3-4 years in prison, came home and can't get right because it was just that much of a traumatic situation to them. I know motherfuckers who did 25-30 years come home and you would never know they did 25-30 years. It's about how you prepare yourself. And one of the key components that you need as a person trying to transition back into the free world is patience. You need patience for one, because when you come into a world where everything is already set, everybody's already in their own little, all the pieces of the puzzle seemingly are already in place. That's not the case, but it seems like that. And when you come out of prison, you did 15, 10, 8, 9, 20 years, everything looks like, wow, like I should have that too. And you start comparing yourself with these bitch ass niggas. That's what we call them. When you're in prison, we call niggas in free society bitch ass, hoe ass niggas, right? Because we watching these niggas come to the penitentiary for doing all kind of crazy ass shit that we would never think about doing, right? So the whole thing is, the most important thing that I had to kind of like condition myself with is patience. Don't try to rush out there and catch up to shit, because you don't know how that nigga got that shit. That nigga could have told on 45 niggas to get that car, that dope, that money, that watch, that chain, that whatever, right? Don't go out there trying to keep up with them niggas, right? Right? Do what you can do. Be motivated, be inspired, and then you have to be self-inspired and self-motivated. So I taught myself patience, and I also taught myself, these are some of the key components for people. I hope somebody sees this. You have to teach yourself patience, because when you come home, especially if you've done a prolonged period of time, everybody look rich. Everybody look rich, everybody look well put together, everybody look lit, right? But you don't know under the surface, them niggas ain't even happy. Them niggas fucked up. You don't know what kind. They robbing Peter to pay Paul. They live from hustle to hustle, right? They grinded up on that car or that watch. So they didn't get that shit overnight, the majority of motherfuckers. So when you come home, you seeing people with shit and you want that shit because you recognize that shit as status symbols. And we know that if you got a chain or a watch or a car in the hood, some clothes or something, that shit is status symbols amongst niggas. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is, I taught myself patience, and I taught myself patience is number one. You have to have patience with yourself. Number two, to continue to be self-motivated, right? Don't come out here and get lazy. Don't come out here and sink into this shit. Remember when I was in prison, I used to talk to guys about everything that was going on in the world, all the things that we were seeing and hearing. And we used to always say, well, I'd never do that shit when I go home. That's some bullshit. People who act like that, I ain't fucking with them. But as soon as guys get released from prison, they fall right into that same stupid ass shit. You in a block, you get to smoking weed, you drinking, you go in the club, you lose sight. Hey, listen, hey bro, you just did umpteen years in prison. You don't have the luxury like he had. He ain't never been in prison. So he already got his life built. Nigga, you got a GED if you got that. So you gotta be patient with yourself, but you also have to continue to be self-motivated, right? And you gotta put your blinders on. You get what's for you is for you. You can't be looking at it, because when you get to looking at everybody else, and I always say, right, and I'm gonna close it with this. If you have to resort to your plan B, your ass is in trouble. Because when you in prison and you thinking about coming home and you strategize and you planning who you gonna stay with, what you gonna do, where you gonna get a job at, how you gonna get your license, how you gonna get the car, right? We put zero time in building a plan B. If you in prison, you come home and you have to resort to a plan B, your ass on the way back to the penitentiary. Because we spent zero time contemplating what if the plan A doesn't go right. We put all our eggs in the plan A basket. There is no plan B basket. So when niggas come home and the plan A start to fall apart, they don't know how to catch themselves. They don't know how to pause themselves. They don't know how to step back and say, whoa, let me reconfigure this shit so I can still stay on plan A. Plan B, for a nigga come home from prison, oh, nigga, somebody finna get robbed. If I had to resort to plan, I'm a robber. I'm retired though. If I had to resort to plan B, oh, I'm robbing some shit. Nigga, I'm robbing some shit. I'm robbing some shit. So no, I didn't see this, but I didn't see myself going back to prison. I'd already gave enough of my life away. When I say gave away, because I didn't have to do all that time, right? I could have been came home. I didn't have to do all that time in the youth home before I went to prison. So what really happened is my thought process matured to the point where I said, I'm going to do what's best for me. And once that shit really sunk into my soul, because it's not a surface thought process, it's an internal thing. So when life throws shit at you, boom, get your bitch ass back, bitch, boom. Get back, bitch. Hold up, ho. And I'm still going this way.
Well, thank God this worked out for you.
Yeah.
Man. I didn't want to see you robbing anyone
Yeah,
else.
because I rob some shit now. You know what I mean? Let it get tight. You hear me? I'll get a motherfucker together. You better hope I'll never fall off, because there's going to be some robbing going on.
So what's next for Dawgface?
Everything, man. It's the cold summer promo tour. I have no jumper back on the deck, and that's separate from me and Adam doing the debate.
Okay.
I'm back in New York next week. Me, Hassan Campbell, Harlem Legend TV, we all doing a joint podcast together. I got a bunch of different shit going on. My schedule is booked. A lot of different shit going on. I'm working on a project with hell of a man, RJ Watkins Jr. My podcast and everything I have going on, Dawgface TV podcast, is booming. I'm happy to be where I am now. I'm in a good space mentally. Even though I might cuss a motherfucker out online, I want you to know that I'm laughing when I'm cussing you out, bro. When I'm cussing you out online, right, I'm laughing at the shit, right? And when I get through cussing you out, I promise you I'm not steaming or brooding over that shit. I promise you, when I get through cussing you out online, I'm finna go jump on my Harley and go jump on and ride. I promise you I'm gonna go get my slingshot with my razor. I promise you I'm gonna pull the boat out, pull the jet ski. I'm not spending any time. When I'm cussing you niggas out, that's when I'm cussing you out. When I get done, I'm shopping, I'm traveling, and I'm enjoying my life. I promise you I'm not sitting back worried about what the fuck the motherfucker do or what the motherfucker say about me. I promise you, this shit beautiful around here.
Can we expect more phone tapping in the future?
Oh, fuck yeah. As soon as I leave this motherfucker, I'm phone tapping. As soon as I leave this motherfucker, I'm phone tapping. Boosie Part 35.
That's how we know when you're fired up, is when you do the tap.
Yeah, phone. I haven't copywrote that yet. You know what I'm saying? I should trademark that shit. That phone tap a bad motherfucker, you hear me? And I think everybody knows that that's a Dawgface thing. Mm-hmm. So if you steal it, it is what it is. But that's my work product.
Any shout outs before we get you out of here, bro?
Hey, shout out to everybody who have been supporting me throughout my journey. Shout out Mafi, Real Life Jeff. Shout out all the people in the city of Detroit who've been supporting me. Everybody who have been put in a position or put in a situation where they felt like they had to defend me for whatever reason. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to radio. Shout out to all the podcasts who've been showing me love. Shout out to my family, all of my children. Shout out to everybody who have been rocking with me. It's all love.
I'm shooting through the city, now it's so with me. Thinking about how Bobby fucked over Whitney. They say